So my name is Andrius Reciunas, and today, together with Ross, we're going to go through some of the Trimble Connect features. Um, when we planned this, we wanted to focus, fit it up everything into a 1-hour session, but that might be slightly a bit longer because there's so many new features that came up that we wanted to showcase as well. But we'll probably stick to of the core features within the Trimble Connect what it is now, and then we'll do separate webinars later on. Then we can talk about. Right, so Trimble Connect is becoming the centerpiece of everything that Trimble is doing, and a lot of other products that are being more integrated within, so with the export import capability, synchronization, and so forth, for TBC, Site Vision, RealWorks, Tekla Structure, SketchUp, and so forth. But it also can accommodate most of the files produced by the third-party applications from the Autodesk world, Bentley's, and so forth. And it's been widely used throughout the world. These are all old stats. We have probably even more projects created by now, and even more users. But you can see the global scale of how it is used throughout. A few of you might be using Trimble Connect only for just viewing models, viewing DWG files, and not actually using the whole capabilities of it. So what we will be going here is a few of the main features that we're going to show. Firstly, it is not only a viewer, but is also a pretty big file storage and sharing capability platform. You can log in and view all the files and folders within your desktop, your desktop version that you can click and have it offline capabilities as well in the web version, on your phone, on your tablet, and so forth. You can create BCF topics, which eventually is a 3D RFI that you assign a person and he'll receive an email with all the information and 3D data in there. It can produce clash checks between different models. Document markup. So if you upload a PDF, a DWG, you can go inside the Trimble Connect project and mark up, put some annotation on there, and even assign a person for that person to actually work on your assignments in there. I'll also quickly go through of the activity tracking, file and folder permissions, automatic email notifications, and team settings, and how that could fit in within your workflows. Some of the less known features are that you can embed new metadata information to any 3D objects within the 3D view. So I can create any new information that I add to those. So let's imagine for a fabricator, I can click on an element and add when this was fabricated. I can put a date stamp. I could put a true or false statement. I can put a free text or an URL link, which I'll show you later. And that information instantly produces in the 3D environment itself. I can color code it. I can export it, and it's available throughout the project stakeholders. As I said, I can export that data in an Excel spreadsheet or in a PDF. I can create my own report type, what kind of information I want to include. And even if I have multiple models, I can turn them on and export into a one singular file as well for later simplified use. There's a possibility of annotation and overlaying, say, drawings on top of elements. It can be done manually, or in another way in Tekla Structures, you can do it automatically. But this is not something that we're going to go through today. Another newish feature that came out is live collaboration tool that eventually a couple of stakeholders are jumping into the same view and start to turn on their models. They're starting to put their annotations, and everyone is viewing the same elements at the same time. And another feature that can be done in the desktop version is compare models between versions. So if you upload a DWG file or a IFC file or any other compatible file format, and you have revision 1 and revision 3, you can then select the revision 1 and 3 and see what kind of differences between those two files actually were. So if it's a model, if there are new elements added or changed or deleted and updated. Right. So for our existing customers, so if for you to know, so in the geospatial world, if you have any of the majority of the subscriptions, you do have associated with that email address a Trimble Connect Business Premium license. For all the Tekla users, you also have, if you have a named user, it's associated with that email address as well. For the SketchUp, GoPro, and Studios, you have a Trimble Connect Business, which is a one level lesser license that has a bit slightly less capabilities. But if you want to know the differences, you can always contact us and we will have a chat. For the standalone licenses, you can always go into the trimbleconnectaustralia.com.au page and get yourself a license in there, which is an easy checkout option. So as I said, we're going to focus on some of the core functionality. And while we were creating this presentation, I'll jump to the live presentation after this. We wanted to then skip these parts because each connector and extension actually requires a bit more time and more information around it. So we will do future webinars, or if you want a bit earlier, we can jump on and do a presentation to your company or to yourself as well. What we will be walking through today is focusing on the Trimble Connect features that are already, let's say, implemented. A few of the extensions we will mention, and then we will also, at the end, if we have time, definitely go to the Q&A section and give your questions there. If we'll have time, we will be trying answering those. If not, then we will get back to you. So definitely worth to put a question in there. Right, so let me just position this. Right, so when I mentioned that it's not only a 3D viewer, but also a data file and folder storage capability. So this is when you jump and create a Trimble Connect project, this is the first Explorer view. So in here, you can see that it's a folder structure, same as any other folder structure. If I go to any of the folders inside, I can have different folders within, and that's how to distinguish and organize your data within. I can have that modified on what kind of size is that and so forth. The next one is the views. So views are basically 3D screenshots with your changes and add-ons within the 3D environment, which we'll jump on to a bit later on. Releases is not a new, but an ongoing concept for sending off documents to a recipient. So if I create a release that I need to send to someone, so let's say I can include different files. I can include to an existing release different files. So if MEP, surveyors, contractors, they are forced to create their file folder structure basically and attach to the release. And when you do send it to the recipient, at the end, those files with that version are being locked within Trimble Connect. So you cannot delete them. So it's a good way to track later on what's being delivered. The activity page is basically everything that's happening within the Trimble Connect project. So if I go to the activity, I can filter out based on if someone who uploaded it, who moved the files. Based on that, I can go and check on what user did in any given moment if he created. So then quite a few times updated the SketchUp, the SketchUp model within the project. So if I go to that actual file and I click on it, I can see all the versions that are being updated before, and I can jump into the 3D or download that revision at any given time throughout the project. Moving further, the BCF topics that I mentioned, it's a BIM collaboration format. It is, for those who haven't used it or does not know what it is, in simplified words, it is a 3D RFI. So I can assign to it to a person. I can put what it is, explanation, what it needs to do. I can put a due date, and that person receives an automatic email of that task with a link that he can jump into. We're not going to go for the shared model feature. Reality capture is basically you can view your point clouds within the web version now as well, and this will be going. Frost will go through this at the end of the presentation. To-dos is mostly the same as BCF topics, but a native Tekla format. So I do recommend using the BCFs. And jumping into teams. So all of your team members are being listed here. You can invite by just including any email address in here and putting as a user or admin. Or if you have an Excel list, you can then include all the list in there as well. Then I can create groups of people. So let's say if like our employees, external stakeholders, different companies, or just different segments of within the company, you can do that. What it does, it helps us out later to jump into the folder structure and add permissions to it. So I can have similar to the scan data folder. So building point employees have all the full access, and then anything outside the building point employees have no access to this folder. And that's how I can then build up my my 5-folder structure and then assign to persons. Even it works on a folder or a file level, and I can even give permission to one user as well only. You can also share a couple of, let's say, 3D models with a link, so they can actually just scan the QR code. You have a link, you convert it to a QR code, and then you put it on a site, let's say, and they scan the QR code with their mobile phones, and they jump to the 3D view without the need of logging in as well. And then you can restrict them to view only or view and download. So you're not losing, you're not giving away your precious data. So if you're giving them access just to view it, and you can always deactivate that one as well. So in the activity type will be the share one. I don't have it in here, but it's then you can basically delete that link from working as well. Right. When you've finished with all setting up your projects, you can always then have and create a template of it. So I can copy the project settings, project members, and folder structure, and then create a new project altogether straight away. So I don't need to do this every single time as well. There are some other project settings that you can put it in here. So there are locations, how big is the project going, some BCF topics that you can change what kind of information you want to include, like the topics, the statuses, priorities, and so forth. Extensions that are, some of them are turned on by default. Reality capture is not turned on by default. So for those who want to use the point clouds within their projects. Notifications, which is a good one. So every time let's say someone assigns you a task, you can set up to get an instant email, or you can have a digested email at the end of the day. So if a lot of people are commenting on and collaborating, you can have a digested email at the end of the day telling who did what. Default units, you can change millimeters, meters, and so forth. Tags that can be included onto views, onto files, onto 3D elements, and so forth, that later you can quickly scroll through and filter out. So if these are, let's say, site elements, workshop, or office, or these are very critical ones, then later on you can filter based on those. Sorry. Right, so this is a very brief, very simple walkthrough of what you can do basically not in the 3D environment. And then if we start to jump into, I have a couple of projects here open, and I'll just be jumping in and forth from here. So if I want to jump into the 3D environment, I can actually go in and click on any of the elements, like the IFC models and turn them on, or I can just jump into the 3D view here. It will open up and we will be jumping to this environment when it finishes to load up. So we have the same folder structure here, and within here I have multiple models and even PDF drawings in here set up. So very briefly about this, so it's your simple rotation ones. Let me just turn on an example model. So I have this example model that I put it in Trimble Connect here. So your simple rotation, so rotate, pan, look around. You can even walk around when you're basically on site. Your selection, so select one or select drag and drop. Assembly selection. So if you have a few elements within, so the difference is that if you want to select it as an assembly with multiple parts, or you want to just select basically one single entity. Multi-select, if I toggle this, it selects multiple things, and then a few measuring options that I'll go through. Markups, clip planes that are now really helpful in all of the situations. Your rotations, perspective views, toggle show off and off. Ghost mode, which I'll show you later. Viewing, if you want to turn off some of the attachments or clip planes. Altogether transparency mode, so I can turn on transparency on and off for how much I want to. And a missed feature by a lot of users is the setting tab here. So you can change a lot of settings within. So if I want to, let's say, have a black background or any different color in here, if I want to load the data table that I'll show you a bit later on how many tables I want to populate within here, I can change that quickly in here. If it starts to act, if you're getting, I'll turn on the pump station here as well so that I can show you a bit more. If I zoom in here, I can minimize the quality if it's becoming too much or too laggy at some point. How many objects do you want to turn on? Unit settings that I can change, and the extensions that you want to turn on. So in this examples that we're going to go through, you want to have the organizer, data table, status sharing, later on QR markers and reality capture. So that's done from the settings tab. And now if I jump in to show a bit of the features in here as well. So let me just zoom into this again. So if I zoom in, let's say it's a pretty big object here. I want to focus only on this hand railing. I can actually go into the clip plane, use the clip box, and just clip around. So that's a bit too big. And I want to just clip around the small object. So let me just reduce it from this side. So it creates a six-sided basically clip plane. It's a bit too long here. So I minimize it to this. Let's say a bit higher. I want to minimize it only to this portion. And then we have this highlighted structure that I don't really like. I'm just going to turn it off. And that's where we left off. So quickly I can then kind of move briefly in here and put some markups and dimensions on. So if I want to measure the angle between, let's say, two faces, I can click on one face, on the other face, I get that dimension. If I want to measure between, let's say, the bolts, I can put this and have that dimension on. If I want, sorry, zoomed out a bit. If I want to check the height of the stairs, you can see how it snaps to different faces as well, or the length of the stairs. I can have all that data in here. If I want to get a coordinate of a bolt center, I can put that in as well. If there's a slope here, which we do have in here, I can measure that slope as well. You can see it's 3 degrees here. And then if I want to change, but I need a bit more unit settings from here. So for the slope, I want the horizontal and vertical one. So now I can see that it is approximately around 2 meters. It's sloping down by 7 millimeters in here. Now, if I accidentally reset the model, and then I lost all of that, we didn't if we actually created a view before. So I did play around before that, and if I select one of the views that I worked in, I can then load that view back again with all of my markups that I've done before. What I also done is I changed colors for specific elements. So all of my markups, I draw around the surfaces that you can later on use to describe to your colleagues or assign a task to any of the people within the project. Even now, I can just select a few and change the colors of them as well. If you want to focus on that, again, reset the model. I can also load additional data in here. So I do have an overlay of a DWG file for setting out these bolts for the hand railing. And then again, yeah, so this is pretty big. I just want to focus on this area, so I can just clip it, and I only will see within that area. So for here, I can also have points. Let's say if you have a TFLX file, just turn that on. And I want to focus on only on these. So if I select them and I only want to view them, I can just view them and then interact with them throughout here. And if I, without showing everything, I can actually just toggle the ghost mode, and then I will see the rest of the models, rest of the elements that are turned on in a transparent manner. So I can always toggle this on and off so that you get more precise to it. Within here, you also have, so I turn on models in here on and off, any ones that I want to. You have layers, and you can turn on and off layers or select based on the layers. We do have attachments as well that you can put into any object. And in this case, again, if I reset the model, we do have a few attachments in here. So you can see here, if I select this element, it has a PDF attached to it. And if I zoom in here, I can click on that PDF and then view it in Connect. So what it will do, it will open that attached PDF to it. So again, so this can be done on any of the elements in here. So if I go to this column or even to this shed looking structure, I can add an attachment. I can add a BCF topic, or I can add any attachment from throughout the drawing, or even a URL link. So this test, and then, yeah, well, it needs to be a real link. I can actually just copy this and then link to model. If I attach that, then I will see that URL link here as well. And then if I go back to the PDF here that I opened up in Trimble Connect, which is in the same project, I can then do some markups, put in some text, need to change, so forth, and I can create to-dos for persons to act on it. So again, so need to change bolt cleats. And then I add a description, I add a due date, it needs to be done by 20th. This is an issue, it's critical. Completion date you can ignore for now. I can assign a person. And then those tags that we talked about, so I can just type in critical, if I can spell. Yeah, and then just save it. So then an email with this file will be sent out with the markups that you've done here to the person assigned to it. the views that I talked about already went through. Now we're gonna go jump through a bit more advanced features within. So let's say you have multiple models throughout the project. So I'll turn these off. And let's say we have this structure, which is a geolocated one. So if I just zoom into that location, and if I zoom into the one of the stubs, just to double check, if I want to pick the center point, I can see here that we have some coordinates that are very far from just the zero center here. There is this called organizer. So it is what it does. It's creating a rule-based structure. So for this specific model, so let's say these are beams, columns, stairs, and so forth. I created I'll just open these settings. I created a rule-based section to get the names out of the IFC folder here. So what it did automatically is filtered and combined all the elements with the same names, and I applied color to them as well. So what it does is if I actually then color code everything, it will create a different color for a different structure altogether, for a different name basically. So anything that's different name will have a different color here. If I want to focus on, let's say, stubs at the moment, I can just click on the stubs here. It highlights all the stubs that are within that project. And then, okay, I just want to look into these stubs. So I can just click on view only. And this is what we're looking at straight away. And now going to a bit even more data. So let's say I can open the data table here. What the data table does is it shows you the information within those files, within those elements. So if I click on any of the stubs and I click on the I button, these are all the properties that it has. So if someone exported it, it can be a DWG file as well. Different layers will have different, let's say, information on it as well. But it will have all of these properties in here. If I'm really interested in some of them, I don't need to scroll. I can just click on the star mark and it will pop up at the top. What's the advanced feature within Trimble Connect now is if let's say you're working on setting out these stubs, so I can actually zoom into one, click on it, and then I can add new data in here. So is the element in position? So if you're on site or you checked it, and yeah, this is in position, and this is today's date, number 13, I can save that data into that one element. And now, why is it useful? So when I'm jumping back to the data table, so I want to have the information of all the visible elements in here, which are these, and I have pre-saved ones, so stub site check. So what I did here is I can create any columns that from that information that are within those files, and I can just drag and drop them here. What I did here is basically the name, the assembly mark, and if it's in position. What I can do as well is group them. So I know that all of these are set out. I can just even change the color for them to be green. I know that all of these are not set out, so I can just leave them, let's say, red. And even, yeah, so this one's not checked, or this one, these cannot be confirmed for some reason. I can see them here, but and then like why is that? Maybe there's something preventing them to be checked on site if it is set out or not. Again, I can toggle off the ghost button here just to have more visual of what it is. What it's also good that I can, if I extend all of these or any other created, say, attributes, I can export this as a Excel spreadsheet or a PDF, and I will have all that data in here as well. And then you can print it out and then have a hard paper copy on site as well. So again, it could be based on the visible objects, on the selected objects. If I'm only interested in yeah, so this portion, I can get information about, so selected objects. I can get information about all of just only those portions inside. Right, and you can create your own columns from within there. So I need to just zoom in back again. With the metadata, you can create any kind of metadata that you want to include. So if I click on one of the objects, I can then click here and then add properties. And then these are my pre-saved ones. So site conditions and workshop conditions. So I can add any of this metadata that can be later on updated by the people that I assign to and give permissions to as well. So it's not that everyone will have permissions to each metadata. You can create your own as an administrator and then provide them, your team members, with the specific metadata only that they can manage. So if I'm adding this to the workshop condition, and then every time someone goes in here, if they have permission, they can add this additional info in there. So if this has started and if it started on basically today. So everyone within the team, within the teamwork environment, then can access that information within. Right, so jumping in another, yeah, so we went through the organizer, which can be, again, so if I turn on a different example, it can be based on profile sizes. It can be based on anything else. So I have a tower here that is actually also, you can see here, different profile with a different color and together with a different size bolt as well. So if it's a different size bolt, it will be a different color straight away. So this is something that you can quickly identify just even visually looking at it. Based on weight as well. So all the, as you can see here, so all the beams that are less than 50 kilo, less than 20 kilo, or between the 50 and 20. So you can colorize them based on that, so that you know on site, oh, these are heavy, I will need help, and so forth. So again, it's multiple ways how you can organize and extract that data and filter out. Jumping to another example of status sharing. Let me zoom into this back again. So status sharing it's almost identical to the new metadata that you include, but what it also does, it gives you a timeline stamp. So you can create actions, as I created one, let's say for fabricated, and I can colorize everything. So based on the color, you can see which ones have started, which ones are completed. But what I can also do is go back in time. So on the 1st of November, there was nothing started, nothing completed. So on the 4th, these were started, these were completed. On the 5th, all of these were completed and these were still being started. And then so on and so on and so on. So you get that instant information of what's happening where, and I can create new actions if it's drafted as well. I can have, yeah, so we don't need these. I can only started, paused, completed. I can put information of which ones are drafted. If I just select a few of these, I put a date, and I started today. And then that information will be saved within the status sharing here, which later on, anyone can come back to and see the history of it as well. So who actually marked it. If we go back to the fabrication one, if I click on the same element that you saw there, so I have that information when it was started, when it was fabricated, when it was completed. So it's a very quick way, very easy way to let your, again, anywhere, on site, in surveying as well. So if these stubs were set out, if these bolts were set out, I can mark them as well in here or with the metadata. So it's kind of your preference. Jumping to the BCF topics. So BCFs are, as I mentioned, the 3D RFIs. And what it does is, if I want to, let's say, focus on, I would really want to tell my coworker to, let's say, focus on this area. And okay, these need to actually be changed, bolts, and I put a markup, 3D markup, change to M30. And then if I want to, just to highlight how the importance, these are red, let's say everything else is transparent. I'll leave it like that. So in here, now I can create a BCF topic, change bolts, a title, need to be bigger. Again, assignee, I'll just put myself. It is a request. It's a high priority. Due date is tomorrow. Tags, let's leave it. And it's a new feature altogether. And I save it. What it will do is create a BCF topic from that list. And I will actually receive an email. Sorry about that. Very shortly after. If I actually had one before as well. Yeah. So I had the email will be looking like this. So Trimble Connect. So this is a different BCF topic, but all the information that I typed it in, and I can click on that and view the topic straight away. And I would be jumping to one of these. Let me just reload the website. Again, well, we are focusing on the web version at the moment. So all of these features are within the web version. A lot of these features are in the desktop version as well, and the mobile devices there. So now if I want to jump back to, you can see here, so the one that I've created before. So if I just click on it, it will come back to the same view and load up. Just jump into the previous one. It will load up with all the previous information that I put in. So I've assigned someone to check all the 16 stubs that here are on site, and people who's basically assigned, he can put in some comments that later on they can come back to. So cannot check today. Do it tomorrow. So I can put a comment in here. I can attach files, or can I from the project, or I can attach screenshots. So like, why couldn't I go and check on site with these elements while in there? So something's preventing me to do it. So I can attach any other document to it as well, and then later on check it. So in the comment section, then we can communicate. I will get a digested email at the end of the day. Let's say how many comments are there being put in. And one of the good examples of that BCF, sorry, was in the brew tide. It's a different project. We're jumping on something that we done a brew and learn session previously. This one's up, I believe, in Brisbane. So I asked my colleague to move the column with the bolts further away. So I want to load this with the original ones, with the original request, with all the models that were attached before, together with the point cloud as well. And I can see here a pop-up, so newer versions of the model available. I can then go in and see version history. So from here, I can see how many times the model was updated. And then we're looking at the revision 1 when I made the request. So if I jump into, let's say, revision 4, I can see the differences of what it did. So I asked my colleague to move the column further away so it's not sitting on the street, and that's what he did. Move it further away. So if I jump in, I can jump into the newest version as well, which will be slightly different looking. Even put it in a slab. Again, together with your point cloud, data, it becomes much more clear for you, for all the stakeholders involved, like how accurately you are putting everything in. And again, in the comments, I've added these ones. I could again comment now that and then tag him so that he receives a new email with more instructions on it. And jumping to another model, I'll just turn this off. Another brew and learn that we actually did, and just maybe like a tips feature. So from the views I've saved up, let's say if you're chatting with a say prospective client or a site manager and so forth, you want to just have a 3D visualization of something that you want to put into, you can just draw that within. One actually that I forgot to mention, good feature for those who are within the 3D element, is rotation to that face that you want to be. Sorry, not this. Rotation to the element that you want to be associated with. Yeah, let me just reset the model. And several example, several model, yeah. Zoom in here. So I have different faces, let's say in here, faced not in XY direction, but I want to actually focus on this one plane. So if I hold my Alt keyboard and I double click on that face, it will rotate to that face. And then if I need to make some arrangements or just draw it, I can just basically draw on top of that surface. So that broke a bit, but it is. Let's reset the model. Any surface that you have, and if you hold Alt, if you double click on it, that will rotate straight to that view in there, which is a pretty neat and quick function. A few last things that I want to show, and I'll just hand it to Ross, is let's say the walking path and the QR codes. So I can draw myself down on a model and then start walking, just starting inspecting things, and all my annotations will be there as well. So if I just turn on a point cloud, that will be appearing as well in the meantime. Will give me a bit more clarity within. So while the point cloud is basically loading, I can actually go in and start walking. Just to better visualize, I can actually walk on top of the stairs all the way around. I can even jump in the model, bit of a play around. I can jump down here and then land straight away back in. Another, I'll mention one of the extensions that they're also within, Trimble Connect. Let me just check. Which one was it? Yeah, so it is associated with a model, and I probably do not remember which model. Let's reload this view. Yeah. Anyway, this is there is an extension of QR marker, so I can actually place a QR marker anywhere within a model, and then that QR marker can be later on scanned with sight vision, and then overlaid in the real world scenario, which I have a very short, quick video of with the same. So that's the same place within a real world. So we have a total station pointing out to one of the holding down bolts of the staircase. showing where that location is. And then if I just jump into the Sight Vision app and I have that QR code in the same placed that I did it in the model, I can then start scanning that QR code on the actual site. What it will do is overlay the augmented reality models straight directly on top of the views that you can see here. So I can see all the information that I see in the Trimble Connect project, and it gives me a bigger clarity, and even showing it to the clients, or just having a video as like this, it will give you more peace of mind as well. I'll just skip that a bit further. So all of that information that you just seen that we were looking here. So that would be basically the QR code. And then that's the same view that we were looking at. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot. So I tried to cover as many functions that I can that are inbuilt within the core functions. And what's left is the reality capture without the point clouds, and I'll hand it to Ross to start sharing his screen, and he'll have some great examples there, and he can finish off with this. I will be jumping into the Q&A as well, so definitely start typing your questions, and I'll keep on answering until the end.
Cool. Yep. All right. Everyone can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can see. Yep.
So there are a couple of things that we'll cover in this part of it. We're going to look at two main extensions. They're probably as much geospatially focused as they are construction focused, but it's relevant for everyone. The first one is certainly more geospatially focused in the sense that it's the field data extension that allows you to share data directly from the field back into Trimble Connect, but you can actually see the job file in Trimble Connect. It allows you to visualize the project, see the points that were captured, identify the status of that particular project, in the sense that you can also assign it to people, but determine whether it's new, in progress, field work complete, or QA complete, if that was the way that was going. We can set priorities onto that. It will also sync through the PDF files of reports that have come through from the field, and continues with a list of all the points that were captured, as well as images, so I can select the image and see what images were captured against points within the field. In here, while this doesn't actually show it, if there was an FXL that was loaded in here, we can have the line work, the trees, the symbology, everything loaded in here, giving you the visibility of what was captured in the field. The benefit to you as an end user for that is that if you're in the office and you're not in the field, you can see what's collected, how that collection's been taken place. In the back here, you can see there's background maps, so you can see how it overlays with the data that's existing on site, giving you that flexibility that you've got the confidence that the data has been fully captured, and then you can download that into something like TBC or another package to then process the data and move it on. The other one that we're going to look at is the reality capture data set the module. Now, this is a bolt-in to the side of Trimble Connect. By that, I mean you have to purchase a storage space to visualize the point cloud data. There is a free add-in, so everyone gets 10 gigabytes free for business and premium subscriptions. However, if you want more data than 10 gigabytes, it's a purchasable add-in, and this allows you to visualize any form of point cloud data in Trimble Connect and overlay that against other data models and things like that that are in your project. Some things here, I've got several data sources. As you can see, they've all been geo-referenced. They overlay the area of interest down here. I have one just to keep it a little bit simple, but loaded here. There's currently 4 billion points being loaded in real time here. I can turn, say, my drone data off here, so we can get back to just our base model. If I want to see a particular station, I can click on that station and see the panoramas. the overlay of the point cloud data against that. You'll notice also that there is a model here. Up here in my models, I have an overlaid model. I'll change the color of that to make it a little bit more visible. Let's make it red. In this case, you can then start to see how relationships are within your point clouds and your models. This is only a very simplified model. I will add that the simplified model was just the point cloud loaded into SketchUp, where we were able to quickly model the data from the point cloud. So if you're looking for a package to model data easily and efficiently from a more simplified level, SketchUp is very good, and it will allow you to load your models in there. Within here too, when you're pushing the data from TBC, you can get the station views, as you can see here. I can also import LAS and LAS files directly into the reality capture tool. If you do that directly into the reality capture tool, you can get the option to classify the data on import. Otherwise, if you've classified the data previously in another package, or you've got the data in TBC and you share the data out, you can share that classified data. To view the classified data for all the project, you can hit the cog up here, or I can change and see the classification of only the particular point cloud I've got shown. So I can go to show details by clicking the three dots here. In here, I can go to styling and see my classification. If I select that in the drop down. This also gives you the added bonus of seeing the percentage of points that are in each of those particular classifications. So here I can see how many points there are of each of those particular types. I can turn off the layers that I don't particularly want. So I can turn off my noise, my never classified, and we can go back to, even up the top here, I can go back to my true color and have those particular elements turned off. So I can see that base data without the noise or the never classified or that default layer, if that's in there, and see how that's impacting. We can also go as far in this particular case as turning off the buildings too. So if I do that, then I can just see my overlaid model, and you can start to really pare back the information to just what you're looking for in terms of a visual aspect. There's some other things in here too. There's a clearance and elevation. For clearance, let's say I've got a model. What it allows you to do is it allows you to do a comparison between a model, an imported model, and the point cloud, and it does essentially a distance check against the model, and then you can heat map that. Now I've loaded this up in this particular case, so I don't have to scroll around and rotate around. It was captured in a view, so again, utilizing that view. I've also got a limit box in this particular case that I've captured within that view, so I can always return to this particular heat map location. If I want to see the information with regards to how that was being visualized, I can change that all in here as well. Another thing is the elevation model. If I get out of my point cloud, if I come back here and go to reload that model, and I turn the option for showing the elevation is that you can pick a point on your point cloud and then give that a height difference. Let's do that there, that one there. This is good for concrete floor flatness, those sorts of things. I can increase my heat mapping, the number of colors within my heat mapping range. I can change that to a specific elevation if I want to. I can do offsets. I can even do tolerance if I want to make that down to 0.5 meters rather than 1 meter. We can change that down, and you can see the floor flatness of that particular platform height within this particular model as you go through in terms of that sort of thing. The final thing I would say is that when you're looking at data, CAD data is certainly an option for loading within this sort of project. In this particular case, this was CAD data that was captured within TBC from the scan data. If you're worried about how many points you can handle and load, this has 420 scans in it that were taken with a X9. So this is it loading in real time. Yes, it is loading as it comes through. But the thing to remember about the reality capture module within Trimble Connect is that each point is a discrete measurable point. It's not loading a mesh. We're not simplifying it down. Every point that was loaded into this model is actually shown here. If I go to show details here, you can see in this particular case, it's a little bit over 2 billion points has been loaded. I've got some projects that are up to 5 billion points when you're indoors and doing those sorts of things, and it loads just as easily. Remember too, it can also load on your mobile phone, on pads, on other devices. As long as you've got a web access, you can sort of load it and visualize that data and share that information within out in the field, or collaborate and do those things that we've sort of looked at in other areas too. On that front, I'll probably leave it at that. If we will look to do some more sort of trainings on these sort of topics in a more detailed fashion. This is sort of just an idea of what Trimble Connect is currently doing. There are some other things like there is an alignment tool that's in beta for Trimble Connect, which allows you to run alignments down corridors, and you can do offset measurements against that and those sorts of things. We do keep fairly across it and sort of update through LinkedIn and those sorts of things, as well as our general channels with regards to what changes are going on, and sort of challenging you to think about the ways that Trimble Connect can help you share and benefit your data.
Yeah, so definitely stay in tune. Visit our LinkedIn and social channels. Subscribe, and or if you have received this email, you'll receive the other ones as well. All right, so thanks again, and then see you on the next times.
Thank you, everyone.